Hello friends, welcome to my channel Dots of Destiny. Today's video, I would first and foremost, I would love to give a big thank you to all the people that made it a point to write about their comments in the YouTube video and also in my WhatsApp box. So I was filled with emotions. There were a lot of so much of positivity, so much of inspiration from all over India, right from north to south. I have got so many people connecting with me. That's really so overwhelming. Thank you a lot to all my subscribers, all the people, those who watched me and speaking about the whatever topic I took up in my videos. So today I thought, because there are so many people who wrote many questions also. They had some eagerness about certain doubts they have. Obviously, astrology is full of doubts, no doubt about that. So I wanted to pick up certain questions and take up today, because these questions are really interesting and it intrigued me also. So some I knew, some I again went back and studied, and then I thought I should do a video on that. So I have taken up 10 questions in this session, and I'll tell you the answers, and hopefully I'll be able to do justice to your questions. So let us proceed with this video. And they are really, I love the questions. I really love them. Those who have written good comments, thank you so much. Those who have, put a little bit of doubt, I don't care. Negativity does not scare me, because criticism should be taken in a constructive way. It's okay. I'll do my level best to put up. So, and another thing, lastly, I'll speak about the Aquarius ascendant, who were really upset because I could say nothing good about their Rahu Ketu transit in this video. So let us jump into the video and deal with the questions. The first question is, what is astrology? What kind of a science it is? And how are we dealing with the Earth, Sun, Moon, all the planets? And we are not even considering Earth in our calculation, in our prediction. Why it is like that? So friends, let me tell you. Astrology is a observation-based science. It was observed from the Earth and up in the sky when we see that the sun is crossing through the constellations. What I mean by that? Now see, as we in everyday life, what we say, sun rises up from the east and sets in the west. Do the sun rise up or do it sets? No. The sun is not moving. The sun is fixed. The earth is moving. It seems from the earth as an observer that the sun is rising up and the sun is setting. Similarly, astrology, the Vedas, when the saints, they made the science, when they had to start with the science, they observed it from the earth. From the earth, we are facing all the energies that is connected with us from the heavenly bodies. So earth, from the earth only we are taking it. So earth is not considered here as a planet, because we are dealing from here, and then up in the sky how we see, that is how we take the observation of astrology. It is a science, but yes, we take sun as a planet, moon as a planet, Rahu Ketu planet. All the others are planet. Even nowadays, not only nowadays, we should include Uranus, Neptune, Pluto also. The Pluto now in science cannot be considered as a planet, but these have intrinsic effect on human life, lot of effect. So here from the earth we are observing the sun is crossing through the belts of zodiac. Now what are these zodiac? They are the constellations. Many stars together, they make up a shape on that belt, On that belt that we see from the earth, when the sun crosses each zodiac, it gets illuminated more. So suppose when sun is in Aries, what is Aries? From where do we come that face of the ram that we see as Aries, as the symbol of Aries? It is the constellation when we see up in the sky that makes up that face on the sky. So when sun crosses these constellations, astrology is based through that study. The sun is not crossing. The earth is moving actually. It seems to us from the earth that the sun is moving. This is the first thing. Now see, when we take the Western system, everybody, I think those who are ardent followers and believers of astrology have read Linda Goodman. So that is the Western system of astrology dealing with the sunshine. They take from the sun, they calculate everything from the sun. That is good, that's okay. But we in Vedic astrology, in Jyotish, the sidereal astrology, we consider it from the moon. Why moon and why not the sun? You know, the moon is our only satellite and it's very near to the earth. Even the tides that we face on the earth is affected by the moon. If you have a chronic disease, if you have a bone disease, muscle problems, it elevates, it goes ups and down due to the waning and waxing of the moon. So moon is very closer to the earth and it has a profound influence on our body and mental condition. So that we understand. Whether you deny it or not, that's a different thing. But it happens. We know that. That's why we consider it from the moon sign. Moon is more in use in the Vedic system of astrology. So this is how astrology was created. Yes, sun is not a planet. Sun is a star, 100%. But for the convenience, we take it from the observation from the earth. We take it as a planet. So also moon. So also Rahu, Ketu and every other planets that we take into consideration. So this is a simple question. Now see, the next question is that why other satellites are not considered? Who said that we do not consider satellites? We take. Saturn has its satellite, that is we take Dhuma, we take Gulika. Gulika is satellite of Saturn. Satellite of Earth is moon. These are also important. But like the moon is very close to the earth, the kind of profound influence the moon has on our life and our mental state, those are little less obviously. But I will paste a image of all the upagrahas that we also consider in astrology. Mandi, Gulika, Upaketu, all these things we take. These are very malefic satellites. We do take consideration of these also. These are comets. This Dhuma is a comet. We do take in consideration. It's not that we don't take, but the thing is that the effect of the moon is so profound, we cannot compare satellite as a moon and satellite as Gulika. Gulika is very malefic. Very malefic. So we have to take it into consideration. So many satellites are taken, comets, these are taken into consideration. What I suggest is that when a question arises, because astrology is a very debatable subject, then first and foremost, we need to read the book Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra. This is the main book in astrology. If a person goes through detailing of this book, then he will find mostly all the answers. 90% of the answers will be solved for him. 10% here and there can remain. That there may be complex questions also. So here the upagrahas and satellites of other planets are also taken into consideration. Now, how is Rahu Ketu formed? Again, this question comes. See, again I'll pin an image for this. This is the sun, the earth is revolving in its elliptic around the sun orbit. Now the moon is revolving around the earth. It is cutting the earth's elliptic in 2 points. It is cutting. I'll give the image. Kindly, please understand the image properly. The moon's orbit cuts the earth's elliptic at 2 points. The north point is called the north node Rahu. South point is called the south node Ketu. It is a science, nothing very, it's no imaginary thing about it. Yes, in science, north node, south node is not considered, but now the Western astrology is considering. They also felt if you omit Rahu Ketu from your calculations, lot of things you are just missing. Because Ketu is the inlet of karma, I told in my previous video also, and Rahu is where you're going towards. This is the achievement that you have to take in this lifetime. Rahu is a receptive energy. Ketu is a very subtle energy. That is our karma, that is bringing the things. That is why eclipses also, they affect us so much. Whenever eclipse happens, some kind of things happen, whether earthquakes, whether rain, whether this, whether mental problems, lot of things happens with eclipses also. That is also a big thing. Always Rahu Ketu are definitely attached with eclipses. So the Ketu will bring the karma that is there from your past lifetime, because Ketu is a spiritual past life planet. And Rahu, you have to deal with it and go towards Rahu, where your Rahu is situated in the horoscope. So Rahu Ketu are very much imaginary points, but they are so important. They have been given the dignity of planets. So that should be understood. Okay, next question. This question is this is a very easy and also a difficult question. What the planets have influence on our life and our body? How does the planets, which are so far away from us, how does the planets affect us? Now see, I'll give you a simple example. Is that you find, if you can get hold of some horoscopes, you find a person having Moon Saturn on the Lagna, Moon Mars on the Lagna, Moon Jupiter on the Lagna, Moon Rahu on the Lagna, Moon Venus on the Lagna, and Moon Mercury. You will understand these 6 people are totally different from each other. Moon Saturn on the Lagna, that person will have a little bit of slowness in them, little bit of pessimistic thing in them, but they will be responsible people. Just 2-3 lines I'm telling. Moon Mars, they will be very hectic, very full of valor. They want to achieve, they want to go, they want to, they get success, they want to get success in life and all these things. They're very driven people. Moon Rahu on the Lagna, they are high thinkers, very high lofty ideas they have in their head. They have like a king-sized head of thinking. Moon Venus on the Lagna, very sensitive people, very giving, very nurturing, very full of love in them. Moon Mercury, lot of thought, lot of maybe the brain also sometimes it's very Mercury is very fast-paced planet, so it moves very fast. That person will be a little always on the go, little here and there, and but the intellect will be always questioning mind, that kind of a thing. So see, this is the difference that a planet creates in our life. Just think about it. You cannot just conclude that the planets are far away from us, they are having no effect on our life. It's not like that. It's very simple. It's very simple to understand. Each person is different from each other, and the horoscope says that. It says that. I've just given you one example from the Lagna. If you get hold of such 5-6 horoscopes, you'll understand the difference between each and every person. That is the energy of the planets. These are huge heavenly bodies that we're talking about. How come they will not have any effect? They have. They all have effect on us. All. Whether we understand or not, that's a different question. Okay. Now, a very good question. I love this question. Qualities of planets, how can we imbibe in us? What are the good qualities of all the planets? Now see, what is Jupiter? Jupiter is Vivek, the knowledge that we have, that is Jupiter. A good Jupiter bestows a quality of a high, that kind of a person who is full of generosity, full of learning, higher thinking, all these things. Next comes Saturn. Saturn is full of karma. It's a work planet. It's full of karma. So whenever Saturn is very prominent in the horoscope, strong in the horoscope, that person will be a work-oriented person. Work, 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 and it never stops. And a lot of responsibilities also to endure with. Next comes Mercury. What is Mercury? Mercury is the intellect. It is not the intelligence. Mercury is the sharpness of the mind. Mercury, when combined with the knowledge of Jupiter, then we get the intelligence. Mercury is just the intellect of the person. It's the mind. It's full of thoughts and very, very detailed oriented thoughts. That is Mercury. Very creative, very creative. They put on hand anything. They have a lot of hobbies, lot of things they can do at the same time. So that is Mercury. Next is Venus. What is Venus? Venus is love. It's pure, simple love. You give and you ask nothing in return. That is Venus. Venus is, we take it as luxury, as a 3D planet. But Venus is not totally about that. I'll come to this topic of Venus later in my question. Another question I have with Venus. Sun. Sun is leadership. That is the leadership. The soul is so much full, you know. It has good pride to be a perfect leader. It will lead its people before him or her. That kind of a personality is the sun. The soul has the riper the soul, the best the sun quality will be in your horoscope. Then comes the moon. Moon is the nourishment. It is the beautiful quality of the mind. A beautiful mind is denoted by a moon, a bright moon with some, Jupiter moon conjunction, Gajikesari yoga, if it is having on the Lagna or some Kendra houses, then it's a beautiful personality over there that you find. So the moon is the mind, the beauty of the mind, how the person is, that is the moon. And last, Mars. Mars is the veiler of the person. You see the army man, how they deal in our borders. They give their self for the country. Money cannot buy that, isn't it? It is not possible to buy that veiler with money. So see, these planets, these are the qualities. Now see, I have a chart and this horoscope speaks about all the qualities, whether you agree or not. It is the chart of our Lord Rama. So Lord Ram had all these qualities. I'll put the chart over here. He had an exalted Jupiter, exalted Mars. He had all the planets exalted in his horoscope. Okay, mostly 5 planets, 6 planets exalted. Now you can see how his life was. It was a very, a life which was dedicated to the society. To put the norms of the society in place, it's not easy to deal with such circumstances of life. So an exalted planet is good in the horoscope, true, but you have to rise up to the exaltation of that planet, or rather I can say it will make you rise up to that level. So an exalted planet is always not easy to deal with. Better if the planet is in Mool Trikona. I feel, from my point of view, it is easier to deal with planet in their own house or Mool Trikona than with an exalted planet. Exaltation is not a very glossy story always. Because see, if suppose you take Jupiter exalted in your horoscope, you have to reach that kind of a knowledge state that you understand what is the grace of Jupiter. Jupiter exalted does not mean it will give you lots of, all the best things of life and a lot of luck and all these things. Yeah, it may, in some areas it may, but it will make you rise up to that level where like a, divine presence you'll have inside you, so that you don't go into the too much of the material aspects of the thing. An exalted Mars may make you behave so much devoted to your duty. Suppose an exalted Mars is for the Aries ascendant in the 10th house. They are so much dutiful. They can be so much dutiful. If the overall chart also says that same story, then they have to live up to that exaltation, which is not easy. So it is very difficult to imbibe each and every quality of the planet. It's very difficult. Exaltation planets, that thereby it's a best quality of the planet in that house. It is not easy to imbibe that. So this I wanted to clear in my video, because many people think that, the question is good, how to imbibe the best of all the planets. The question is good, but it's not an easy task. That's why I took the example of the horoscope of Lord Ram. Okay, my next question is, who is smarter, Rahu or Mercury? This is a very crispy question actually. Yes, Mercury is the intellect, it is. But see, think about it. Mercury is the third house and the sixth house. Mercury has all the intellectual qualities about it. It can think very deep, it can think very fast, it can be cutting, its thoughts can be very precise and all these things. But Mercury is not, in my opinion, not as smarter as Rahu, because see, Rahu is dealing with all the desires of this world. Mercury, obviously, it is the third house. Gemini is also a desire, sign of desire only, the Kama Trikon. But Mercury also deals with Rogrin Shatru, the sixth house. So it has to be very practical also, dealing with it and all this. But when Rahu combines with Mercury, if you have seen a horoscope with Rahu Mercury combination, whether Rahu is in Virgo, Rahu is in Gemini, that's a very 3D placement. That's a very smart placement. Smart, if you actually can call it. It's a smart placement, because Rahu is totally all the five senses that we have. It loves to deal with all these things because it is filled with desire. So like Mercury is a good planet. It's the prince in the celestial kingdom, and the prince is very creative, very smart, very intellectual, very all this. But Rahu is very worldly smartness, and especially if it is in mercurial sign and all this, then that's a different quality Rahu gains. Maybe good if it is taken in a good field, maybe bad if it is in a dusthana, or any bad aspect is over there in that kind of a Rahu. That can also happen. So Rahu is smart in both way. In the underworld also, it will create a great thing for itself. It can be a big dawn also. That kind of feelings Rahu has. It doesn't bother whether it is doing the bad thing or this thing. That's why Mercury also has that kind of a traits. But that's why Mercury was always under the guidance of the sun. It mostly gets combust. That is the reason. It comes always. That's why a single Mercury, a Mercury with sun is better than a single Mercury. This I have noticed in most of the horoscope. If there is a single Mercury, it is a little bit, it becomes a little bit too much for the intellect. It thinks that I know everything. I have a lot of intellect. But when the sun is there, that is why it is called the Buddha Aditya Yoga. Buddha-Aditya Yoga is wherever it is. Maybe I'm not talking about highest of education and all this, but wherever, if you have a Sun-Mercury combination and Mercury is decently placed in a sign and all, it gives a guidance to your intellect. That is very important. That way, I feel Mercury is better than being single in a house. So, in my opinion, Rahu is smarter planet than Mercury. In my opinion, it can just do all these things. Even Rahu, see, Mercury is business, is negotiation, dealing, all this. But Rahu deals with politics also. Too much high position things, Rahu can deal it very well. So it is the smartest. It is really very smart. And if it is placed in a mercurial sign, then definitely it gives a different glamour to that Rahu, whether good or bad. So this is also a very nice question put in. Okay, now comes a very important question, the exaltation and the debilitation of Venus. Okay, one thing was written very, I really felt very happy seeing this question also. Why Venus gets exalted in the house of its enemy, and why Venus gets debilitated in the house of its friend, Virgo. So it's get exalted in Pisces, in Jupiter in house, which is its enemy, obviously, and because they are two schools of thought, and it gets debilitated in Virgo. Now see, it's a very common thing also. Common means if you can think about it, you'll understand. I always take planets as a human thing. If you can think it in that way, then you will get your answers very quickly. Now see, Venus is what? Think about it. Venus is love. That's what I said. Now Venus, first and foremost, it deals, people say it is about extra, all the 3D things of relationship, your Lakshmi, treasure, all this is fine. But first and foremost, Venus is a planet of love. So because 7th house is the house of two people meeting together at a plane, though those two people in a marriage may have very lot of difference of opinions, but they it's the given, it is the just the giving of it. Venus, that is why Venus is in Libra. It is the balance of giving and giving love. That is what Venus is all about. Now, when Venus starts from Aries and passes through Taurus, third house, fourth house, everywhere, it has something craving for. Suppose first house, the person wants to look very beautiful. Second house, he wants good jewelry, food. Third house, he wants small desires to be fulfilled, all this. Fourth house, maybe very close to family, mother, all this. Fifth house, children. Sixth house, when it comes, what happens? It is a house of Virgo. It feels at a loss. Why? Because it is not the place to give love. See, you may have two friends together right from the childhood, but have you noticed that sometimes when you grow up, your ideologies do not match in certain areas, not overall maybe, but in certain areas. You must have felt that with your very closest of friends also. You have a different way of thinking, they have a different way of thinking. So that is why Venus gets debilitated in its own friend's house, Mercury. They are really friends in celestial kingdom, but it gets debilitated there because it feels at a loss in the sixth house. What to do, what to give to Rogrin Shatru, what it has to give over there? Nothing. So that's a very prarabdha house. Sixth house is all the prarabdhas that we accumulated in our past lifetimes. We have to deal with. Venus gets debilitated there because of this only, nothing else. It has nothing to give and take over here. It feels at a loss in the sixth house. Now again, when it comes to seventh house, relationship, eighth house, sexual desires, ninth house, maybe higher learning, 10th house, getting recognition, loved by people, 11th house, big desires. Now when it goes to the 12th house, after crossing all these houses, why it gets exalted in the 12th house of spiritual, moksha, abandonment, and all these things? Because the ultimate love that we share is the love with the Almighty. It is the surrender to the ultimate faith. Because Venus over there understands, though I am in the enemy house of Jupiter, but this planet is a very knowledgeable planet, and this area is so knowledgeable. It is so beyond the 3D life that we lead every day, where only give and take policies go on. Here, it is only bhakti and surrender. Nothing else matters. In the 12th house, it is only bhakti towards your highest, consciousness, towards the Almighty that has given all to us. We are only can feel gratitude and bhakti over there. So it can happen from your enemy also. You can learn a lot of things. So that is the beauty of astrology. Just imagine how details it has been seen in those days. They have made the science. It is so beautiful. Just think about it, then criticizing the science. You can learn a lot from your enemies. Your ideologies may not match with that person, but still you can learn from that person through your bhakti, through your surrender to the highest of knowledge. That's why Venus gets exalted. It is not the love of any material things, any person over there. It is a love of God altogether. It is a love of your highest consciousness, where you feel one with the one source from where all we have come from. That is the ultimate Venus. That is the best Venus that we can have in our horoscope. Now, second question comes is that, this is a very weird question. I don't know who said that if you have a Pisces Venus, then everybody should look very beautiful. A person having a Pisces Venus are all very beautiful. It is not like that. Again, I am telling you, Venus may represent beauty. Yes, it is. But it is the beauty of the soul. Ramakrishna Paramahansa is an Aquarius ascendant. With the second house, he has an exalted Venus. Is he very beautiful? But it is the beauty of the inner soul of that person. Please understand this. Please understand what Venus is. It is the beauty of the soul. It's not the beauty, it's not the exterior beauty that Venus deals with. That's why it gets exalted in the Pisces, where it's totally moksha, abandonment, spirituality. That is the beauty of the person, the bhakti over there. See, when I'm telling you why this, many people have told me, they have asked me, I have a 7th house Venus. Will my partner be beautiful? No, it's not always that. It can happen. I'm not telling it will not happen, but it is about the inner feelings of that person. If it is not afflicted, if it is a good placed Venus in the 7th house, that person you are getting married to, it is the nature of the person, the soul of the person, which is very beautiful. That you have to understand. That is a Venus in the 7th house. Not necessarily you'll get a very good looking partner. Astrology does not work in that way. It is the inner beauty. That's Venus. So that is one thing. Another question is Mars and Saturn, exaltation and debilitation. Okay, this is also a very nice, it's a very unique question. See, Mars get exalted in the Capricorn sign of Saturn, which is a very karmic sign, is the original 10th house, and Mars is a very big enemy of Saturn. Saturn is also to Mars. We know that. Now, Capricorn is a very disciplined sign. And Mars is what? Take both into it's an energy. Mars is a big energy planet. It's the drive to do something. But when you place Mars on the lagna of a person, sometimes I have seen again and again that energy is very disoriented. It's not a proportionally directed energy. When you place Mars in the 10th house, it gains directional strength, and if it is in the sign of Capricorn, that energy is very focused, systematic, and very smoothly does the things in an orderly, structured way, in a disciplined way. Again, I'm telling you the same thing. Maybe Saturn is an enemy, but can we not learn from our enemies? The question lies there. Is everything bad with an enemy? Because I am not having some ideological difference, some problem with that person. Is everything bad about that person? No, it is not like that. Then it's a very lame way of looking at a thing. It is the Saturn, that Mars which exalted in Capricorn. You look at a person which is having exalted Mars in their chart. They're very disciplined about their body, their mind, their way of thinking, structured approach towards life. That kind of a Mars can only generate good results. Think about the army men who are working in the borders. If they don't have a structured approach, calibrated structured approach towards the enemy, they will be decimated. They'll be decimated. They need to have a plan how to face the enemy. They just cannot go on the war with a valor. I have to fight the war. No, it never works like that. The war is a very systematic thing. Yeah, things can go wrong. Then also you have to have the presence of mind. That is the Mars and Capricorn. Now, why Saturn feels debilitated in the next question? Why Saturn feels debilitated in Aries? Because Aries is all about self. It is a first house. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Understand that. You'll see Aries people have a very childish nature to them also. Sometimes they're very moody also. Like a child, once they're doing, sometimes it happens. If the overall chart is good, that's a different thing. But Aries people are really, they have a childish touch to their physical features and their nature also. Now, what has Saturn to do over there? It is a planet of karma. It cannot deal with that energy, which is a little disoriented. If there'll be Aries people over here, they'll feel that I'm saying something negative, but it's not negative. Think about it. Aries, that is the characteristics of the Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. When just a baby is born, think about the youth of it. It is very childish. It wants to do everything at the same time. It doesn't think about what will come next, what to do next, planned and all. No. And Saturn is holding the 10th and the 11th house. Karma Phal. It is the best houses in the horoscope. The Saturn is a very different planet than Mars and the Aries sign. So when Saturn comes into Aries, it feels very lost in that house. The energy is so scattered a little bit. Saturn doesn't go with that kind of an energy. Friends, Saturn is a very, it speaks a lot in the horoscope, and it's a very big planet that we are talking about. Actually, I give very importance to Saturn whenever it comes into a horoscope. First, I see into the Saturn part of it. Because here we are here to do certain karmas. It's a karmic life that we all have. Once the karma is done, we are gone. Moksha. Nothing is left in this 3D world to be dealt with. So Saturn, we just cannot deal in one small video. I will make videos of Saturn, and I'm very interested, I'm very intrigued by the planet Saturn. And last, I think, last but not the least, here comes my Aquarius people who are my subscribers, or they have written something in the comment section, is that, see, Aquarius, Rahu Ketu transit in the 2nd and the 8th house. Aquarius is a very good sign. I have half of my family members Aquarius. So I don't want to talk bad about it. But the thing is that astrology, we should definitely point out, you find out in books when Rahu transits in the 2nd house and Ketu in the 8th house, what kind of transformations it will bring. This is a very difficult nodal axis that we are talking about in this transit. Rahu in Pisces for the Aquarius people and Ketu in Virgo in the 8th house. If you say you want to amass money, you can. But then that money you will try spending on different things also. Money can ease out of your hand. That can also happen. It can happen. So that's what I'm saying, that I want to point out the things. See, positive, it will happen. If I say also it will happen, not say also it will suddenly happen, you'll feel very good about it. But predictions, mostly the negative aspects should be pointed out, because this is not an easy transit that we are going to deal, especially for the Aquarius ascendant. That's why I pointed out those points, because people are writing that, oh, nothing good about Aquarius. Who said? Whenever Saturn is on your Lagna, you have to think about that. Saturn is a huge planet sitting on the Lagna, though it's your own Multrikon house it is sitting, but it will give all the effects that you have, from your karma that you have done. You may feel bored, you may feel slow, you may feel irritated. Aquarius moon full Sarasati on them. You may feel that your works are pending. People are giving unnecessary, because Leo is a 7th house. People will give unnecessary, comments on you. You can feel detached also from people, because Saturn is a very spiritual planet. It's a very spiritual planet. It takes you in the lonely space. Whenever Saturn is on the Lagna, whether in transit, you feel a little, isolated from all the people around you. That happens. That's why Sayasati becomes sometimes very unbearable. It is a testing time. Saturn brings all your karma to you. It tests your patience again and again. It creates hindrances so that you give a structured approach to your life. You develop patience in yourself. That is how this planet is. So it is not only that Rahu is traveling in the 2nd house, it is also the Saturn that is on your Lagna. It's not an easy transit. It can make you, if you take that energy properly, you can go to great heights also. That both ways. Saturn works both ways. But first it will test you. Then it will give you the result. That's what I have to say for Aquarius ascendant. I'm sorry if I have offended people who are having Aquarius ascendant or moon. I'm sorry about that. Okay, last thing is that I want all of you all, because many people have written, they are ardent followers of astrology. Please go and watch the interview of K.N. Rao taken by Kritika Rao. It is a recent YouTube video that she has created with interviewing K.N. Rao. It's a wonderful video. Look at the modesty of a man. That is how astrologers should be. That is how we should have faith on this subject. One thing, my dear subscribers and my friends, astrology is never wrong. Astrologers can be wrong. Yes, you have to understand. Whether that astrologer, many people called me and said this, that the genuineness in question. Yes, I had my doubts when I was not totally into this field. I had my own doubts also. And I totally respect this. Because astrologers make it believe to people that they are here to change the destiny. No, it is not like that. No astrologer can change the destiny. You have heard of the term maybe prarabdha. That is what is written, that we have come here with that horoscope in your hand at the time of birth. So prarabdha, drira prarabdha, you cannot cut it. Adrira, you can deal with it. Drira adrira karma. Little bit prayers, this, yagna, japa, you can. Adrira, you can. But drira prarabdha, you have to face it. No astrologer can change your destiny. I always tell one thing, by this I'll conclude my video. I have always told this thing again and again, I'll repeat it. Astrology is a torch, not a crutch. Don't take it as a crutch in your everyday life. We are here to deal with our karmas in this lifetime and in every other lifetime till we complete our karmas, and we bring prarabdhas from past many lifetimes. Astrology tells you what is just going to, little bit, it gives you the torch. The torch is what you focus the torch, you see the light so that you don't fall on the potholes that is there. But if it is your drira karma, that also, if after seeing the torch also you will fall there, definitely it will happen. So that is why take astrology as a, yes, this can happen in my future, let me take a little bit protection, or let me deal with it a little cautiously. Suppose Sadesati is coming, if some astrologer tells you, be a little cautious, don't go into 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 pujas. No, the astrologer, see, that is why I'm telling you, go and look into his video of K.N. Rao, such a modest astrologer, simple living, high thinking. No astrologer can change your destiny. You are here to pan out your destiny. It will pan out in the way it is. Here and there, little bit you can change it. In the Saresati, you have to go through strong emotional breakdowns and phases of patience and a lot of things. It will happen. But if you deal with it in a smart way, knowing that yes, this thing is happening with me now, then it will be a little bit easier knowing the thing. Otherwise, you will be in the blank that what is happening with me. What the hell broke loose? The feeling will be like that. So faith is very important. See, another thing is that miracles will not create faith. Faith will create miracles. I strongly believe in this. The faith is a very strong thing. Astrology is also a science of faith. If you get an astrologer who is good and guiding you, and if you can a little bit follow those guidance and go through that path, have that faith that yes, things will work out, then it's a blissful state. So I think I have answered these questions. I'll put the timestamps of the questions in the description box. Next video, next topic, friends. Have a good day.